year that they're allowed to use for teacher training. What they're being said that it can happen is that if today earmarked for as an inset day in the spring term, what they can do is they can bring that forward to Friday the 18th. So children aren't going to lose a day of education here. It's just moving an inset day that would be scheduled for later. So that argument doesn't really hold water. And I think Chris's point about teachers' shopping habits, frankly, that's insulting. We represent school leaders. School leaders have been doing the job of the test and trace system, as well as the very difficult job of running their schools during a pandemic for the last few months. They've been spending their evenings and their weekends just close contact, phoning up families. This is not about giving them a day's holiday.
But I have to say that it may well be now that someone within the NHS, someone in the care system, someone who's a firefighter or a police officer, he or she now is scrambling to make childcare arrangements of the decision concerning teachers on Friday, and they've been working hard as well.
They absolutely have, and I think that's the reason why I said at the beginning, I think doing this very last minute like this is entirely inappropriate. I think the difference though for people in those key worker jobs is clearly incredibly difficult jobs, not downplaying that at all, but those people will be working on rotas and on shifts. The difficulty with what school leaders are being asked to do here is, in a small primary school, for example, there's only one head in a school, there's only one school leader. They are being asked to do this job every evening. And set off shift. And I think we're thinking about making sure that we keep people in the teaching profession.
So school finishes now then on the 17th of December. And I appreciate there are different dates for different sort of, but roughly when do the children return then?
So it will be slightly different, but most children will be back either on the 4th of January or early in that week. That will be when the next term starts.
Okay, come back to you in a final word from you, Chris McGovern.
Look, my final word is that that day which teachers are taking off, it will be used for shopping, it won't be used for inserts.
Well, let's bring Julie. Mr McGovern is determined that not you necessarily, but many of your colleagues will go shopping. Julie?
Well, he's entirely wrong. That is not a day's holiday for teachers. That is an inset day. The point of inset days is they are about professional development for teachers. It's not easy to arrange that at the very last minute, but that's what that day is about. It's not being given to teachers as a day's holiday.
Well, that's the truth. That will be sorted out on the day, because I'm sure we'll have journalists around and photographers filming the teacher coach. I know it happens because I'm a teacher. I've taught for 35 years and I work with poor, deprived kids. They will find the school is closed. What a Christmas message to send to young children, to say, sorry, the inn is closed today, the school is closed.
Last word from you, Julie McCullough.
Yeah, I think what we need to recognise here is this pandemic has disrupted education hugely through no fault of the children, the parents, anybody. This is a global catastrophe that we're dealing with. We have had thousands and thousands of children who've been out of school, been asked to self-isolate for 2 weeks over the last few weeks. This has been hugely disruptive. We're all doing everything we can to keep education going as effectively as we can.
I will leave it there. Julie McCullough, thank you, Director of Policy at the Association of School and College Leaders. And you heard first from Chris McGovern, who's Chairman of the Campaign for Real Education and a former head teacher in North London, a teacher with decades of experience. Your reactions to that inset day, or is it a shopping day? We'll take your calls and views on that. Also, you may recall very early, right at the beginning of the year, actually, we started the Enough is Enough campaign to try and give police greater powers to break up demonstrators who try to close down cities or stop newspapers getting out. It would appear those powers are on the way. Michael Gove commented about that in the previous hour.
I do think it's important that the police get the powers they need in order to maintain public order and the free flow of commerce.
More on that as well at this hour. 8:15 LBC News headlines. Thomas Watts.
The Prime Minister and European Commission President will meet to address a list of major Brexit disagreements later. Hundreds more people in vulnerable groups will be given the COVID-19 vaccine today. And a Champions League match was abandoned last night after an official was accused of using a racist slur. A cloudy day for many with a few brighter spells and a high of 10 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. In Newport, traffic was being held on the M4 eastbound just after junction 24 at the A449 after an accident. It's just reopened, but there are still delays of over an hour. But in Surrey, the M3 remains closed northbound between junctions 3 at Lightwater and the M25 junction. This is also following an accident, and there are long delays on the approach. In Essex, there are queues of about half an hour on the M11 southbound to junction 7 at Harlow. Emergency repair works are taking place. And in Kent on the M20, the eastbound entry and exit slip roads remain closed at junction 11 at Hythe because of the queues for the Eurotunnel.
This is LBC.
It's really important for me that I look back in 10 years' time and I see I've made the future far cleaner and far better for our children. I see the energy transition as being a hugely exciting part of the future.
Kat is the CEO of Line